Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. So as I am on this Sunday doing a little bit of work around the house, woke up early this morning. Well, let me run you through my schedule this morning that prompted this video. So I woke up pretty early. I ate breakfast, cleaned the house, went to the gym, busted my butt at the gym, came back, made myself another meal, took a shower, finished cleaning up. I got some laundry going right now that I just paused so y'all could hear me. And doing all this brought a thought to my head, brought something interesting to mind. And is being an overachiever and doing more than is necessary or more than is required, is that going to, for me, lead to potential regret down the line? So it's interesting. I get these temptations every once in a while to indulge in things that a lot of other self-improvement gurus on YouTube would say. And I don't mean to make that sound sarcastic. I realize that did sound sarcastic. But self-improvement men and women touch on um, some of the commonalities. Like last night, for instance, I had a temptation, an urge to go out drinking by myself, go out drinking at a club and try to interact with some people. And this was after I got back home yesterday. I just had that urge to go out, like, man, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be a good time? And on one hand, you have the people who are very type A, such as myself. And others that I've watched on YouTube, they're like, no, you can't go out. Like, that's going to distract you. That's going to waste time that you could be using to put yourself further or to further yourself in life. And that's almost always the camp that I fall into. So last night I was talking to my brother on the phone. I told him what I wanted to do, and he's like, "Yeah, man, go do what you want to do." He's more free-spirited than me. And I eventually decided, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed early, wake up early tomorrow, which I did this morning, and just start crushing my day. And when it's a day off, some people say, "Oh, don't be a loser. It's Saturday night. Go out, have a good time. You're still young. You can get everything done that you need to get done the next day, meaning today." And it's true. I just find myself, it's not even torn, right? Because if I were to choose one way to live my life right now, I would live it in a way that I'm doing right now, where I'm working my butt off in a lot of areas of my life, and I'm trying to become the best that I can possibly become. It's interesting because every once in a while, though, I wouldn't even call it a bump in a road. It's just a consideration of the other side of things. Am I going to, there's my washer. Um, I start considering the other side of like, oh, am I going to regret working so hard and getting further, which I am further ahead in a lot of areas of my life, which is cool. And I don't say that to brag. The hard work pays off, and it's awesome. But I would say my life is fulfilling. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm incredibly happy, though. And I know that a lot of type A YouTubers will, and just people that I've talked to, will say, yeah, well, happiness is overrated and all that. And I agree to a large extent. That's why I choose to live my life how I live it in a very disciplined manner. The middle ground that I could take is middle ground, where I am productive maybe half and half, maybe not even half, right? I can go more towards my bias of being a hard worker and putting off gratifying activities like going out or drinking or doing some of those things for being productive, but then sometimes I can choose to do those things and maybe not get as as good of a night's rest. There we go, and things like that. That might ultimately be what I decide to do down the line. Maybe. I don't feel burnt out. A lot of people living the lifestyle that I live would have gotten burnt out a while ago because I've been doing this for years throughout college. Part of high school really started in college when I got out on my own, and so six years I've been doing this, and it's cool. It's great, right? And I don't. I'm not trying to fish for compliments, you guys. It just it's important to, however you're living your life, sometimes think about, play devil's advocate a little bit. In my case, consider, okay, maybe I'm working too hard and that's leading to my quality of life going down because I'm not allowing as much room for fun and other things. And that might positively influence my happiness, right? So that's what I'm doing right now, and I just wanted to share that with you all. What quickly draws me back to more of the self-disciplined, motivated, determined version of myself is the whole thought of, oh, well, if I were to, it's interesting. It's probably the opposite of what most people think, right? Because they might be like, man, dude, you got one life. Just because you're young doesn't mean you're going to live a full life. You don't know when it's going to be your time to go. True. Very, very true. Already had some close friends who have moved on. But I think I look at that and I think, well, yeah, since I don't know how finite my time is, why not see how far I can progress in this game? That's how I think about life, right? Maybe it's more of a robotic way of thinking of it. That life is a game. You hear it likened to Grand Theft Auto a lot, right? You can level up in a lot of ways, and there are certain ways to level up, and there are certain activities and things that you can do. You can fill with your you can fill your day with to either level you up, maybe keep your level the same, and then decrease your level. And also level, right? Like what levels you up? Is it satisfaction? Is it, getting recognized by your organization for making a contribution? Something that happened to me recently that felt great, although I noticed that that great feeling was fleeting, right? I felt that great feeling of recognition and accomplishment, but then I was like, okay, boom, on to the next thing. Let's get moving on to the next thing. We can't stop. We always got to be going. In the direction that I eventually want to get into, my mentors who are helping me to get to where I want to be tell me you got to be looking, you have to be looking 18 months, or not 18 months, but you can't be looking at just this year. You got to be looking at the next year as well, setting yourself up and always be looking forward. So I see there being pros and cons to both ways of living. And I realize I talked at you all for 8+ minutes, not really saying anything super meaningful. Well, I hope it was seen as meaningful for you. I guess what I mean is I didn't say anything. I kind of talked in a circular manner, right? Saying that, oh, is life, is the way I'm living the right way to live, and concerning the opposite, and just coming up with some examples in my own life. More than anything, the objective of this video was to get you all thinking about how you're living your lives. And if there's somebody who's living their life a little bit differently than I'm choosing to live it, so more on the live in the moment and maybe go out and party more and be less disciplined and regimented with your diet, with your sleep, with your work, I would be curious to hear your thoughts below. Some of the things you have arrived, some of the conclusions you've arrived at over your time of choosing to live how you live, and maybe looking at how I choose to live my life and potential feedback that you have. So, hope that video made sense. I like this style of video where more than just sharing something like, oh, this is what you should do to level up. Because I realize that this is what this channel has been about so far. I also want to leave some of these videos open-ended to your own interpretation and feedback that you have for not only myself, but the rest of people below in terms of how they're choosing to live. And um, I truly believe that the more minds that are thinking on topics like this, on issues like this, the merrier. So, thank you so much for staying tuned. Have a wonderful week, and I'll be seeing you all next week. Cheers.